I think that sometimes the conversation around like red flags, like those are important conversations that we should be talking about it, like thinking about it, looking for them, sharing with each other. I think that even the most well-meaning conversation can be a little victim blamey because it does sort of put the onus on you to be able to identify something that, by the way, someone is working so hard to make sure you can't identify.
That does not make sense.
Oh, Anna Kendrick, you sweet, barren little alpha widow. I really don't see how you could be complaining about red flags when modern women are too busy defining what those red flags are. We live in a time of human pair bonding where literally every single thing a man does and does not do is considered a red flag. If he says the wrong thing, red flag. Does he own a gaming system? Red flag. Does he like Mel Gibson movies? Oh, you know that's a red flag right there. It's not that men are trying to hide these things from you, it's that you're trying to find things that don't exist. It really is that simple, Anna. Human beings are flawed creatures, that goes without saying, but I think you're being a teeny bit unfair by saying men are purposefully trying to hide these red flags from you because all men are just evil monsters who want to control women. But most of us don't really want that. Trying to control you is like using a rattlesnake as an effective lasso. Both are completely pointless and end in a profoundly painful and agonizing experience, except with you, the pain lasts a lifetime.
If they dropped you or me in the middle of the woods, I would step into a booby trap within 3 feet.
Yes.
Because I don't know what to look for. And it's like, because I didn't spend my life learning how to build or identify traps. How is it that we're meant to like be inside the mind of someone who is working very hard to make sure that you feel very unsteady and are questioning yourself?
I quit. I quit.
Hey Anna, if that's truly how you feel, then just stop. Don't date men. Don't think about them. Just go and live your life alone. I mean, it shouldn't be that difficult. You've clearly already been doing it for years. I mean, I know this is going to be hard for you to believe, but I would argue that the majority of men out there actually are halfway decent human beings. Just most of us don't really relish the idea of hurting anybody, let alone women. But you're single, and hopelessly single at that, and you must blame us for your terrible decisions because you can't stand living in a world where you're responsible for your own actions. But I hate to break it to you, sister. Just because people waste money on your less than mediocre films doesn't mean that you're beyond reproach. Quite the opposite. You had your chances and you blew it. So kitty cats and boxed wine are your consolation prizes. Thank you for playing, Anna. Better luck next time.
Good, but I would say it's horrible yet terrible. Ugly yet disgusting. You suck.
Meeting a man at the bar and actually ending up dating that man in this generation is an elite feeling. Like nowadays, it's always like, oh, so Sally, where'd you meet Jerry? Oh, we met on Hinge or like a dating app. But like someone asks me and they're like, oh, so Sophie, where'd you meet him? Oh, we met at like this clubby bar. That's like so main character of me. Like it's giving early 2000s.
What does that even mean?
Alright, lady, getting drunk at a club and starting up semi-regular porking sessions was something that did exist in the early 2000s. That is nothing new. But you want to know what is early 2000s? Actually having a personality that doesn't involve yakking nonsense into a camera. You see, the early 2000s were a glorious time when people actually had to go to places and actually knew how to socialize. It was the dawn of the new millennium. We had just survived Y2K, so spirits were pretty high back then. They didn't just lay around on their beds and record themselves putting on makeup while talking about quasi-spiritual gibberish. Back then, people actually had interests, they had hobbies, and men were actually respected for being men. I know, who would have thunk it? But nowadays, you think that your smartphone cover is somehow an adequate replacement for your personality. And if you ask me, one of the best things about the early 2000s was there's no such thing as main character syndrome. Or at least if there was, women had enough common sense to keep it to themselves. What do you think, gentlemen and gents? What were some of the best stuff to happen in the early 2000s? Let me know in the comments.
You know, because like pulling a hot guy on Hinge or like a dating app is like completely different. It's satisfying, but not as satisfying. Because like, yeah, I sat there and I curated my entire profile. No shit, you're gonna like it. But like meeting a hot ass man at the bar and actually hitting it off with him and like liking the human being that he is, it's an elite feeling. It really is. Like, I pulled that hot ass man in person? Go off, sis. Like, I really did that, you know? It's another level of satisfying. If you know, you know. Like, it's a great feeling.
It's nothing to be proud of, Rusty.
Woman, what you just described is not an accomplishment. It's quite the opposite, in fact. Here's what really happened. You went to a loud club, and after consuming the appropriate amount of alcohol, you went up to a man you found aesthetically attractive and started dancing up against him. Now, this is Doc Chataday we're talking about here. So he sees a girl who wants him, and he's up for slumming it, so he accepts your mating call of gyrating against his crotch. And what started off as a drunken encounter has led to the denial phase of your current situationship, where you're telling the world that you're dating, when in reality, you're meeting up with him a few times a week so he can play with your sloppy goop cavern of antibiotic-resistant hell. And that's not talent. That's entry level for a guy like the Doc. What really would be an accomplishment is if you were able to attract the very same guy because of your personality. But I don't think you're up for the task of trying to achieve the impossible there, sister.
Good luck.
I don't particularly think I'm bad looking, all right? I have a job, I pay my phone bill, you know, but no one wants to date me. And the answer is not that my standards are too high, because I've dated 3 rats in a trench coat just because they wanted to take me out to dinner one time. So what's wrong with me? Why?
Perchance some poetry before a fortnight.
A poem for the loser woman whose standards are too high, thus proven by the rats whose dinner you allowed them to buy. Your personality is weak and your accomplishments are dull. We cringe when you speak with words from your hollowed out skull. You substitute quality for semi-good looks, and you think Dr. Seuss are complicated books. Any man who enjoys your company is purely a fluke, as the majority of us take one look and feel like to puke. But as a gentlemanly man, I shall answer your query, though I'm afraid you'll find the answer rather dreary. You ask with you what is wrong, for which I say the list is rather long. You wasted what little life you had trying to trap the unstoppable monster known as Chad. So allow me to keep things short and sweet. The men you desire want nothing from you except to pound your overused meat.
Let's talk about some ways to tell that you are not their priority. You're on the back burner. It's going nowhere, you gotta go. I'm sorry in advance. First, you've become a time justifier. So what this means is if there's a lot of time between when they got back to you last, you are like, well, they did get off work and it's gonna take them half hour to get home. They probably haven't seen it. You're father time himself. You are doing time equations constantly, being like, it makes sense I haven't heard from them because of this, that, and the other. And, oh, you know what? They did go to this and sometimes it takes long or whatever. Like, if you're just timetabling your ass off, come on.
Bullshit! I hate to be the one to tell you this, woman, but you're going to be timetabling this guy no matter what he does. Unless the responses are immediate, then you're going to be mad at him one way or the other. Timing how long it takes for him to respond to your emoji-based texts is one of the biggest ways you keep score in a relationship. The only difference is who's on the other end. An average guy gets a 5-minute leeway to be able to decipher your gibberish before responding, but Chad gets an average of about 6 months with the appropriate justifications. That's because the average man must pay for the resentment that Tyrone gets for free. You'll prioritize him while forcing the man you don't want to prioritize you. We don't need to be brain scientists to know that one.
Next is you are on call. So there's pretty much always an open offer on your end to hang out, and that's because they don't give you very much of their time, so therefore you're just like, I'm available. And so you might get home, be exhausted, just want to like put on sweats and chill, but you remain ready in case they call. Or maybe they'll say, I'll hit you up later and let you know, and they do not let you know. Or they say, you know what, I'm tired, but you're just in waiting, on call, and it feels like shit. But again, there were no solid commitments, so you might be able to justify that one away too.
That's not my problem. It's yours.
I hate to break it to you, sister, but if you're exhausted from a long day at work and you're waiting for him to text you to hang out, then that's not his fault, nor is it his problem. The problem is your lack of boundaries, the zero amount of respect you have for yourself, not to mention the complete lack of an actual life, and none of that is Chad's fault. The issue could be easily solved by going on with your life and telling this guy that you're too tired to hang out when he does reach out, as unlikely as that sounds. But you're prioritizing the fear of missing out of seeing a guy that you blame him for your problems when you're not even willing to even make the attempt to solve them yourself. That's not on him, sister. That's all.
Next is they compliment you on being chill, or they bring up how easy things are with you. What you need to really, really get through your head, I don't know why I'm sounding so coachy right now, but this is not a compliment. This is an order. It's a demand, and it is saying you need to remain chill, because that's all I will take from you. You can't have demands. You cannot have boundaries. You can't have terms in this. So when they are saying, oh, I love how chill you are, or you're so easygoing, or things just feel easy with you, or I love how you never nag me about blah, blah, it's them saying, you can't do that. You literally can't do that because you don't have a voice in this. And this is the only way this works, is if you don't have a voice.
And chill out.
Or he's saying how refreshing it is to have a woman in his life who's peaceful and that's what he likes about you. Men typically don't make demands with these types of things. That's a woman thing. Men are willing to actually make some compromises for the women they care about, whereas modern women straight up demand the men they like to completely change to accommodate them, which is why men tend to be attracted to kind-hearted, friendly, peaceful women for the long haul. They make it easier to lay the foundation for something stable. But sister, you're about as stable as a house of cards built by an epileptic chimp. In your eyes, you feel like you're entitled to the dominion of a man, and anything he prefers is somehow a proverbial boot to the neck, which is ironic when you're making it clear that you're the one doing the curb stomping here.
Next is you've convinced yourself you don't want more, and that you're the one in the driver's seat, and you're like, I don't really want casual or whatever. And maybe sometimes you think, this is quite the heart punch and it sucks so much. But for the most part, if anyone's like, what's up with you guys? You're like, oh, we're chill, we're casual. That's what I want. I'm so busy, blah, blah, blah. So what I mean by this is you're lying to you and others. And you don't have to want chill. You don't have to be chill. You don't have to want casual. And just remember you have some terms in it. And last but not least, if you ever express to them your disappointment, hurt, a way they've wronged you or whatever, you without fail end up apologizing. You might even apologize before they even have a chance to respond. If you send them a message, you could be like, listen, I'm sorry, I was just spiraling or something. So you bring something up completely valid, you're gonna be the sorry guy every time. You deserve way bigger, way better.
Nobody cares what you think.
Woman, the reason why you end up apologizing is because of this absurd delusion that you think you have a chance with this guy. That all you have to do is just hold out a little bit longer for him to see that special goodness that you have that no other woman does, even though he knows there's nothing there. And when you're making a demand for him to take things serious, he has every single right to say no, because you're offering the bedroom, but it's on him if he wants something deeper. And there really is no point. You're not that deep and he has too much self-respect. That's the issue here, sister. You're allowed to have your preferences. You want what you want and you like what you like. That's totally fine, but at the end of the day, your wants are your problem. And a man like Chad is under no obligation to make your feelings his priority. He's Chad and you're you. There are many of him, and if this man found you at a dime a dozen, he bought you on clearance. And of course, no episode would be complete without the fine members of the Bounty Board. Thank you for your generosity in helping to make this video possible today. Every single one of you is tops in my book as far as this guy's concerned. All hail! And if you're interested in supporting the channel, check out the Bounty Board over on Patreon, where $5 a month gets you access to exclusive content, as well as a personalized shout out and a permanent producer credit. It's a great way to support the channel at a really good price. Check it out, the link is in the pinned comment down below. And of course, you can always support the channel with your comments, your likes, subscribing if you're new here, and double checking your subscription if you already are. there's more than one good way to give the good old-fashioned middle finger to the YouTube algorithm. Thank you so much for checking out the new video, gentlemen and gents, and until next time, peace out, homies.